Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the People's Poll. My name is Suj.
My name is James.
And this is the show each and every Monday where we discuss a topic of the audience's choosing, James.
Yeah.
Go on. I'll give them the options. I'm coming into this week pretty meh.
Yeah, Suj is on a proper downer from the West Ham result of the weekend, I think.
I mean, I expected it, so I'm more just... it's actually the inevitability of this stupidity is even more painful. I could handle losing to Burnley, but just when you telegraph it and you know you're going to lose and then things just play out, it's like a car crash you can see about to happen. It makes it almost worse.
Yeah, I kind of said it in jest on last week's pod, like in your accumulator, mark Burnley and then pick your others, unfortunately. But we'll talk about that on Tottenham tomorrow.
We can. What were the options for people in the poll, James?
Put out 4 options in the poll. I thought I'd put Newcastle United in now because we were on not we, obviously. They're on a feel-good run at the moment. I've kind of very quietly snuck into the top half. Nearly all their goals coming from defenders. It does make you wonder if... we'll talk on the main pod about the Almiron St. Maximin thing. We'd certainly cover it. It's hilarious, but they're doing all right. Yeah. That's why I thought it'd be worth talking about. I put out after an exceptional, very impressive performance at the weekend, the idea of, is Chris Wilder the best pound-for-pound coach in the Premier League at the moment? Spoiler, he probably is. And we'll talk about that a bit more on the main pod. And I'm going to detail more of their tactical stuff on Tottenham tomorrow as well. We put in for Leicester. I'd like to put across the case that their current side is far better than the team that actually won the title. They're just up against a couple of behemoths, which will probably deny them from seriously challenging for the title. Yeah, I think there's every chance they'll get more points than what that title team got. And the quality of the league in that season when they won, it's not to take anything away from what they did, was poor.
They finished on 70-something, wasn't it?
No, they finished on 80, I think. 80 or 81.
So still very
which is
low.
Quite low for a title-winning team this century anyway.
Yeah.
And
the winner.
Clear winner, hashtag scrap VAR. Most of you are probably already aware I went on a bit of a rant Saturday. I say a bit of a rant. It was only like a minute, 14 seconds or something. But it went off a bit, didn't it?
Yeah, it certainly did. At the time of recording, so we're now a day and a half later, 700 and something retweets, a couple of thousand people liking it, and being picked up on the other side of the world with Fox Sport Australia or whatever.
No credit, by the way, Fox Sport Australia.
Yeah, have a word.
Where's the royalties?
Yeah, I mean, everybody did pick up on it. And it was interesting you wanted to start the hashtag trending scrap VAR. Quite a few people have been talking about scrapping it already anyway. And
I don't think I started the hashtag. I think other people had been doing it, but it's probably kicked off a little bit. I mean, my intention was, to be honest, I came out the ground Saturday and it was pissing down with rain, and I got on the train. And it was beginning to bother me that what I was thinking about wasn't the football.
Yeah.
Which had pluses and negatives, because I didn't really want to be thinking about how bad Spurs were at the time. But I wasn't normally in that zone. I'm kind of reflecting. I'm like, okay, why were we bad? Why were they good? What happened in the game? All I could think about was how VAR was killing the enjoyment of football for me. I got off the train. It was pissing down. I saw a bus. I just missed a bus. I was like, for fuck's sake. Tried to get an Uber. Spent 5 minutes with Uber connecting for driver. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ, another bus, 10 minutes. Okay, do you know what? Fuck this. I need to speak up. So I went under a bit of shelter across the road from Enfield Town train station and just spoke my mind and thought, might pick up a little bit of traction. I didn't expect that it would get picked up in the way that it has. And the positive response. There's not even been any trolling to it, which is fairly remarkable on 75,000 views. I expected look at his double chin or some sort of stuff, but it wasn't really anything.
Give people ideas,
just people generally, the majority of football fans going, nailed it. Like most people are not because they're I think stuck in an opinion where they've seen or believed that VAR's worked. I made one quite controversial comment, which a couple of people picked up on, about the fact that if you're pro VAR, you're not regularly going to football. It's not a criticism in terms of the armchair fan can't have his view or anything like that. I just feel like those who are going to the games feel a lot more passionately about getting rid of this. And if we start, if the people that are going are beginning to get disillusioned, we're in trouble. And I'm disillusioned.
You hit the nail on the head there. It's not that I'm speechless, but I think I've said my point on my opinion on VAR as well in the previous shows. I don't know if there's anything new I have to add on the situation. I was pro VAR at the start of the season. I'm now in the same camp as you. I think we should get rid of it. And it is all about the experience. Well, it's not all about the experience in the stadium for me, if I'm actually honest with you. Although that's not very good. I just don't like... The point of VAR is to give the right decision. And even that's not happening. So you could handle the emotion being taken out of the situation if 9 times out of 10 the right decision was being given. But the problem is that it's at best, 50% of the time? There's so many that are not clear and obvious, or that penalties that should be given that are not, or things that should be overturned that are not. And so it's not even doing what its core purpose is, which is to get the right decision.
Is it... Okay, let's take a step back from the emotion for a second. Is it better than what it was last season?
No.
No,
is football
it's not.
better than what it was last season?
As in the officiating of the game?
No.
In our league, is it better?
No.
I think referees are being indecisive.
Yeah.
From the impact of, that might get me out of trouble here, or
that
or
and
might make
linos.
the
Linos are not flagging when it's a bit tight.
It's a massive one.
They're just not.
I think from that perspective, in terms of the getting the decision making right, we've seen from that perspective on the continent in the World Cup that VAR is having an implementation that is working. So people keep telling me. I don't watch enough European football. I was reflecting, once it won in the poll, I was reflecting, why did I think that VAR worked in the World Cup? I think the general was like, the feeling after the World Cup was, oh, okay. And then I thought back about it, and I was thinking about all the England goals in the World Cup. We scored a high proportion of penalties. Trippier's goal was from a free kick. And the majority of other goals we basically scored from corners.
Yeah,
I think the only other one, other than the Panama game, the only one that was in open play was Dele Alli's goal against Sweden in the quarter-final. It was the only one where there was a little bit of, is he offside there? Like a little bit of a wobble, and he was clearly onside as soon as you'd seen the first replay. So there was nothing emotionally, actually, for me, that was impactful on reflection from that tournament.
Yeah, true.
We sat in, when I came back from the Etihad after the Champions League quarter-final, obviously Sterling had the goal disallowed. And everybody would say, you must be pro VAR now. And even then I said, no, I can see the danger. And what I kept relating back to was, could you imagine being a City fan in that situation?
Horrible.
And having that goal like taken away because of the smallest fraction. And I get it, everybody's going to, but it was offside. Yeah, I get that. I feel like on reflection, do you know what? I got to a Champions League final because of it. But on reflection, like, the linesmen don't give it. Life's better.
Did the linesman not give it knowing that he's got VAR?
No, that was a ridiculously tough call, and there was a deflection en route to that. Like, to the naked eye, that is so close. It's also so close that had the goal stood, like, all right, you gripe about it and go, oh, yeah, we went out because he was like half a foot offside or something. But in the bigger picture, like, you forget about it. If that goal had been given and VAR wasn't in existence, no Spurs fan would be still talking, do you remember when Aguero was like half a foot offside? And
yeah.
No one would be talking about it.
No. It just would be what it is.
You'd accept it. In the same way City had to accept it. But, like, for me, the biggest one for me was, it was kind of before the Lundstrom goal on Saturday, was when we scored. I think it was probably just about the first time this season I actually jumped up and really shouted goal. Because I knew it had come off a Sheffield United player and gone backwards, I 100% knew that the goal was going to count for us.
Yeah.
And I was like, I remember what this was like. Being shit, nicking a goal, going a bit crazy. I can't deal with the idea. So if you take even the goal that was given for Sheffield United, I think like if you feel that the Lundstrom, the goal where Lundstrom was offside and McGoldrick scored, if you think that goal shouldn't have counted, like I really don't feel you emotionally feel for football. If you look at the second goal, and you can see even I was looking down because I sit in the side opposite the main camera from where you'd see, so I can't see all of the Sheffield United fans. I can only see the ones behind the goal. And when it goes in, you can see like Basham and the Sheffield United players go over, and it's not like no mental celebration because they've just been affected by what's happened 10 minutes prior.
Yeah,
the fans aren't going mental. There should be limbs everywhere.
Yeah,
and then they go back to the halfway line, and it's all very kind of. And then it comes up on the screen again. Checking goal. And what are you even checking for?
And did the crowd break out into boos again then?
The cheer when the kickoff started from them was not far off the cheer from when they scored. And that's dangerous. Is that where we're going to be? With cheering? You could hear it at Anfield yesterday on the Fabinho goal, where while we're watching the replays on the TV, you could hear the audible like roar was quite loud for like the acceptance of the goal. And it was interesting listening to Klopp, and they were saying to Klopp
when the
afterwards,
ref points back to the halfway line,
they were saying unless it was the Dele Alli goal against Watford, and you're still confused.
True.
I do feel like I've had positive and negatives on VAR. I feel like my team's been involved quite a lot. Maybe that's affecting my mindset as well. But they said to Klopp, "Oh, why didn't you celebrate the first two goals yesterday?" He said, "Oh, like I knew it was going to go to VAR. What's the point?"
Yeah.
Can we listen to those words and accept this is a major fucking problem?
We had a similar situation in reverse, perhaps, with the Crystal Palace game when it was at the London Stadium in the like 86th minute or what have you, with Ayu's goal. But that was flip-flopping even more, and I know exactly what you're talking about. You've got now when players score, the first thing I do is check lino, see if there's any potential risk of offside. And I say to my son, actually, I was like, if we've scored, like Haller scored a goal in a game, I can't remember when. I just said to him, hold tight, he might be offside here. Wait, let's just check. So I'm telling him not to celebrate just in case, which is actually pretty bad in itself. But that went from goal, so Crystal Palace fans going mad, to goal disallowed straight away because the flag was raised, to go into VAR, to goal being given again, so
2 minutes
celebration.
later.
And our emotions were like, they've scored, but very quickly, the flag's up. Because you see that in like 5 seconds. It's not even taken. So then we're all taking the piss out of the Palace fans, laughing at them.
That was a mistake.
So 2 or 3 minutes later, then being like, oh shit, it's a goal again. It's just, yes, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. I'd rather, obviously, we would have benefited in that situation of no VAR and the goal would have been given. But if you remember, that wasn't clear and obvious. This weekend, Sheffield United wasn't clear and obvious. There's so many that Firmino's armpit is not clear and obvious. Like, it's just,
when were you allowed to score with your armpit, by the way?
Yeah.
Would that not be construed as handball?
Yeah. And then the debate now on Eric Dyer is like they were drawing the line from his knee, right? Well, his head was further back. You can head the ball.
Yeah.
So what? Your head does not count, or does it count, or not, or what?
You know how long they spent on that decision?
Tell me.
From goal to re-kick off.
It was long. Everyone was booing.
Well, not re-kick off, but the actual decision of it then being a free kick to us. 3 minutes and 46 seconds.
That's ages.
Are we serious? This is where we're at with football. Kills the game, kills the atmosphere. I said it in the video that I sent out that while we were waiting for the decision, the Spurs fans were booing.
I heard it.
I was at a game against Rochdale in the snow at Wembley, and it was my first real experience of VAR. And we had a penalty given, and then they checked it. Or I think it wasn't given, and then they were checking it, and it was the same thing. It was like 3 minutes for the decision. And eventually it's like, do you know what? Please just restart the game. Let them have the free kick, whatever. I can't be dealing with this shit. It's not what we
3 minutes is a long time.
Go for.
No.
And when you're at least when you're watching the game at home, like you're being shown the replays, you've got a conscious idea. During the 3 minutes and 46 seconds of McGoldrick's goal being disallowed on Saturday, The first indication that there was something wrong was when the players were ready to line up for kickoff.
Yeah.
Now that must have been a minute, I'd say, from goal to celebration to everybody being back in position. That's the first time it came up. Then there's about another further, as I said, 2 minutes, 46 seconds or something. And during that whole process, there is no information to us other than VAR check. Nothing. So Dad's sitting next to me and he's fucking old, and he can't see much. He says to me, "What's going on?" I thought McGoldrick was onside. Now, because of our vantage point, although we're not in line, we're actually on the other side. We was obviously on McGoldrick's side of Dyer. So I would, even my old man, who is so biased and wears tinted glasses, he was like, "I'm sure McGoldrick was onside." And I said, "Yeah, I think he was as well." I said, "I think they're checking something earlier in the move." And I couldn't, because I couldn't think if it was on the right side or the left side. I could only think it was, I wasn't sure at the time that it was Lundstrom that had crossed the ball, but I could only think that it was that. That was all I could think. And as the process was happening, in my head, I'm thinking, please disallow the goal. We're so shit here. Like, please disallow it. But I'm also thinking, all of this is so wrong. It's just so wrong.
Yep.
And they've spent that amount of time on it. And as you said, in terms of the marking of the head and all that shit, you're not getting it right. The one I said in the video was, if you have to get your fucking coloured lines out, it's too close to call. Stop this shit.
Yeah, I agree with you. It was
People keep saying, offside's matter of fact. Okay, it's fine. I can't argue that. But this is what we want. Is this really what we want? Where we're marking I have to repeat, this is why I kind of spoke up more now. My team was of the benefit of this decision. I don't want that. I don't want this crap.
Did you watch the video with what's his name, Andy Gray and
yeah, I've seen
what's his
it, yeah.
face, where they're talking about the fact that the quality of the picture is not exactly like high res, high definition, exact pinpoint millimeter. This is where his toe is, and this is what his knee is. It's blurred.
Yeah, they're measuring it to a big toe, and it's not accurate.
And it's just it's just. And that's a fair point, right? At that point, you've got to be like, you know what? There's a margin of error of 6 inches or whatever. Just leave it be.
We need to get to a clear and obvious point of view. Is the only place where this can work. The problem you're going to get, and I keep repeating this, is players, fans, managers, as seen with Klopp yesterday, are not going to celebrate goals. One of the best things about the Premier League is the pace of the game and the fans inside the stadium. The fact you get 3,000 away fans, at every single away ground.
Yeah.
Any ground under 30,000 have to give at least 10% to away fans. Do we want to stop this? Do we want the atmosphere at football grounds to be like it is at a theatre or something? Is that what we want? Because that's where we're going to, where people are not even going to stand up, we're just going to sit there and clap and then wait. And then you get that audible noise and a minute later to say, yeah, it does count. What the fuck is this? We're killing the emotion of the football fan. That should be more important than getting a decision right. That's my feeling, because I can't even... It's not helping. I'm obviously treating this from a Spurs perspective. The atmosphere in the stadium is not great at the moment. And that's partly because of the way we're playing. It's also because of this crap is not helping either.
Doesn't help. You're right. I didn't watch the Burnley game. Obviously, it's 3:00 Saturday. But then the score flashed. I was out with the kids, and the score comes up on my phone. And even then, when it comes up as 1-0 Burnley, okay, we're losing, but I thought that was going to happen. Then it comes up as 2-0 Burnley. You're like, oh, fair play. And then it comes back actually it's 1-0 Burnley, and you're like, oh, by the way, we didn't actually concede a goal. But I even feel like they've given it for a reason, because it was obviously that close enough that they thought it was going to be a goal, and now they're taking it away. It feels a bit tainted.
Yes.
It's like, well, I don't know. Okay,
so
great.
The Chris Wood one was fractionally more obvious than Lundstrom,
sure.
and technically, I think we've got the right decision there. I think the majority of people can agree with that. Do you have a serious issue if that's a goal?
No.
That's the point, isn't it?
And vice versa, I would expect no one to have an issue if it's same for us.
Well, obviously, people are going to moan about it. We get all that. You go down the pub, oh, fucking hell, he was offside, mate.
Yeah.
But, you forget about it and life goes on. These goals...
You can accept human error. in the
Yeah,
refereeing.
I mean,
more than.
I'd obviously
it was
had-
never that bad, our referee.
I've had the negative of it this week with the McGoldrick goal. I had the reverse of that with obviously the Aurea goal at Leicester when there was a build-up and Son was claimed offside. And I think in both instances, by the way, there's a case that it was second phase of play when the goal happened as well. That's a whole different fucking interpretation issue. So I've been on that side as well, where on that occasion, I did lose my shit, mate. I thought we'd gone 2-0 up, and I mean, it's a longer term conversation, but if we win at Leicester that day, we're potentially talking about a whole different football season for my team.
Yeah.
That's not to say, you know, where I can agree at the moment is it's not VAR's fault in terms of VAR is being tasked, if you will, to try and implement these decisions, and it's being tasked to implement to the minute detail on offside goals. I just feel like the immediate best thing we can do until we can get this right is to pull the fucking big Billy bollocks and get rid of it. At least now, until say, right, okay, we're going to trial it in the background till next season. See what we can improve, review things, because nobody's enjoying it. I don't believe anybody, all the people that are saying, oh yeah, keep VAR, it will improve. Are you really, seriously, are you enjoying this? That's my question. Or, yeah, and all you get back is, yeah, but it's factual. It's not VAR's fault. But you're taking the emotional. No football fan feels like going to celebrate goals anymore.
You got to remember, they're two different arguments. The emotion and the football is one thing, and the factual correctness and implementation of VAR from a process point of view is something different. The process obviously needs to improve. Will it ever put the emotion back in? I don't think it can, unless it's a hell of a lot quicker, and I don't think we'll see that.
For me, let me give you an example of a game, right? So one of the most mental I ever went to the stadium was Eric Dyer's goal at your place.
Yeah.
Last minute of the game, goes around the goalie. We knew at the time it was tight, really tight. And he was just about onside and the goal would have been given. And I think about the limbs in that moment behind that goal, because as Dyer goes one-on-one and he pokes it past, I think Adrian was in goal, I'd do the glance. And all football fans who goes to games know what I mean by the glance.
Yeah. Check the...
Is he on? Is he on? It's the glance. And you know at that point you can go mental. The linesman is my kind of key to knowing it's okay. Now we've got nothing.
No.
We've got nothing to say that's all right or that's not all right.
I think you need to put VAR into the same box as Wembley Stadium.
Room 101, isn't it?
Yeah, Wembley Stadium, mate. Because, look, the reality is it's not going away this year. They're not going to pull it halfway through a season. They're not. It's like Wembley Stadium. You just got to put up with it for a year and then a little bit. And it might all get better at the end of it. But we've got no choice now. So I'm lost for words in terms of how we can keep going over and over it again. I just think we just have to put up with it now.
We're not going to cover this again.
No, but it's not
unless something changes.
Season. It's funny. I've got a picture on my phone, which I meant to tweet out, and I just never have got round to it. From where I sit, I'm directly looking down on a little cordoned off area for VAR where the little screen is and stuff, just off the side of the pitch on a nice carpet, I might add. And I've taken a picture of it at quite a few games recently, and I was going to tweet out, I have never seen this little bit of real estate used in my life. It's an absolute waste of space, this 1.5 metre by 3 metre plot where they've got these nice little cordoned off area which says VAR with a nice screen. There's a man that sits there with a fucking high-vis jacket in bright purple. What a waste of space that is, because it's never going to get used.
No, I don't think it is. I mean, on the biggest one for me, and I said this from the start, is the offside ones. I can live with all the other decisions being wrong. It's the not knowing if the goal was going to count. If you take, I think, like, say Syunku's one against Arsenal at the weekend, like, I think we can all say, yeah, that's a penalty. I'm probably looking at an old school style. I mean, VAR didn't help it, did it? But looking at it from an old school style and thinking, yeah, do you know what? Ref probably would have missed that anyway. It's crack on. Gets forgotten about.
Yeah.
There's no major issue made. Would it have even been a bigger issue if it was given? Because some would argue maybe that's not a penalty. That's part of the problem as well. Look at the TAA one yesterday. We was discussing it on the way on the car on the way in. I think we've got different opinions on whether it is or it isn't a penalty.
But I'm not as diehard that definitely 100% it was, but I would have probably given it because it's his hand and it's
as I said to you, I felt uncomfortable with it because it came off Bernardo Silva's hands to get to that position. I concede that he made his body bigger, and from that perspective, you just take that as a one incident. Yeah, it's probably a penalty.
I'm confused why there's differing handball rules for attackers and defenders. Like, his arm is arm, right?
Well, a lot of the problems that are being caused by VAR are the fact that the rules are wrong.
Confusing.
I think there are things that we can do to, if we're going to be stuck with VAR, which we assume we will be, that can help. And I think things like clear and obvious. And I will keep going back to offside, unfortunately. Whereas, okay, right, we had a rule in a few years ago which got scrapped, was about daylight.
Yeah.
Like, if we can get that back in, and then if you get shown the replay, fucking yeah, I can see between their legs here or something. Yeah, okay, right, I can deal with that a little bit more. The one that I always think of, I was trying to think of goals where you feel like that's a complete injustice that goal stood. I think of Yaz Pelaqueta goal at Cardiff in April when he was in the 6-yard box and the linesman's view on the side was blocked by the corner taker Williams. Just at that exact moment they happened to cross, and as Pelaqueta was so far offside that you do feel like, okay, right, but that was the only one that I could think of where I thought, yeah, that's an absolute killer. Referees will make mistakes, and VAR is never going to eradicate that.
No. Enough VAR. Yeah. Enough VAR. It's international break time, which means we're at a slightly slower pace in terms of same volume of content, just a little slightly different twist. Do you want to tell everybody what we got this week?
The main podcast tonight with literally no mentions of VAR. That's going to be, that's like me and Suj trying not to swear.
Can we also make no mentions of West Ham?
All right. If you want. Yeah, we'll mention it on Tottenham on Tuesday instead. We'll be talking on main pod tonight. Obviously, title race, Leicester, how good they are. Newcastle, Sheffield United, exceptional. We'll talk a little bit about. It feels like there's a Twitter template is starting to strike back. Me and Suj scored very similar scores this weekend. Indeed, in FPL, and so Suj had a much bigger jump than me because it's getting tight to fight through at the moment. So I bless you, mate. I've got quite a template team, so I'm struggling to break through and make ground at the moment. Tuesday, Tottenham, as I said. Wednesday, Sky. We got our friend Paul at Sky Play and FPL coming on. We're going to be looking at some of the mistakes you and I might have been making so far this season. Paul finished, was it 49th in the world in FPL last year?
FPL, yeah.
And he's an expert Sky player as well. Thursday, clash of the correspondence with FPL Pringle and Rotation FPL. We'll be talking about Manchester City and Chelsea. Who would have thought coming into this that Chelsea would be above them?
Yeah, mental. Absolutely mental. And
with no weekend Premier League fixtures, there will be no final plan on Friday. We will be covering, as we've promised to a few people for quite some time, a special on racism and football. If you liked the podcast we did on Bury a couple of months ago, we think you'll like what we come up with for this. That is another jam-packed week of recording. Be the same shit next week as well. Yeah, for sure. So guys, thanks for listening into the People's Poll this Monday. I hope it's given you a light dose of VAR. If you want to find James on Twitter, it's at PlanetFPL Pod. His tweets already had 750 retweets at this point, so a couple more would not go amiss. Let's get to the round 1,000, shall we? You can call yourself a virus at that point. I have to say, it's fucking mad how that's taken off. It is. Yeah. I think they call it you're a virus. I'd spend another 20 years on Twitter. I won't have a tweet go out will have as many retweets as that. That's true. So thank you for that. Find James there and hit like, subscribe, comment, interact with us, what your thoughts are on VAR, all the rest of that stuff. Other than that, back to Monday. Ciao for now. Cue music, man, child. The Fantasy Football Show.